Jesus exclaimed, "I bless you, Father, Lord of heaven and of earth, for hiding these things from the learned and the clever and revealing them to mere children." This is our gospel reading for today, and it can teach us much. You're with Roger from the MSC Mission Office, and this is Mission Alive. When I was in Papua New Guinea, many of the village people were not very well educated, or not educated at all, in terms of Western education and schooling. Now, I'm in no way implying that they were like mere children, no way at all. But one thing I learned as a foreigner and somebody going into another culture was that you had to pay attention and listen to what was going on. Many of those people had a lot of wisdom and knowledge of their own situation and their own view of the world. And this was important to know and to learn. And some of the people I worked with closely, especially when I was training people to be prayer leaders and catechists and other things, was that the people from the village had a lot of wisdom and a lot of insight and a lot of knowledge about many things. As I used to say, they were not silly boys. A couple of examples might help. And in this, I learned I had to pay attention to what was going on. One day at Borragona, kids were coming back from the village to start term at the school, and one big fellow, who was in grade 6 and probably very big for grade 6, was coming along, and he had with him a little small boy with him he was probably going into grade 1 or something. And he said, "Father, this is my uncle. This is my uncle." And I thought, right, very small uncle. And then people would say to me things like, one boy confessed one day, "Father, I disobeyed my mothers and my fathers," plural, mothers and fathers. And then what I learned was, and I asked a few more questions, and I was learning the language at the time, was often in a relationship, the two people in the relationship were referred to in the same way. So a father-in-law and a son-in-law or a daughter-in-law were both known by the term Nakimi. And the same with uncle, Lalana. The uncle and the nephew were both Lalana. So that showed me that their understanding of relationships was something different. What was important was not the two people in the relationship, where we would say uncle and nephew, but the relationship of Lalana was important. And often the uncle was an important person in a person's life, and the same with the auntie on the female side. So that was a different way of seeing things, a different world. And then at times too, when we were planning things, I would often, with this group of prayer leaders, I would with them do a planning session. We'd plan our next in-service and our next meeting, and I would plan when I was going on patrol up to their villages, and they would put all that down on their diary, and then we would go on and we'd discuss it backwards and forwards, and they would say, "No, Father, that time for us, this place is not a good time because we have some other event on. We have a bride price on, or we have something on. So not many people will be in the village." And one time they said, "No, Father, we can't come in for in-service at that time because that's just before the wet season, and that's when we would be planting our gardens. So a month later would be good." So we would plan that way. So little by little I learned how much that the people knew and understood about things. And then also in that, I was learning in some way. I was like a little more child, heading off, all idealistic and probably naive, into another culture, and I was going to do great things and change the world and convert the world, or whatever I thought at the time. Little by little, the Lord revealed to me many things. and gave me wisdom and learning. And that is part of mission. That's what we had to do. All of us who were expatriate missionaries had to do that. And many of our own Papua New Guinea priests and sisters have to do the same, because they go into another cultural situation within PNG. And if we're open to that, and we can learn, and we can grow and progress, then the mission is very much alive, because the people appreciate that. And if we do that all the way along the line in our life, listen to things, listen to people, observe carefully, we will learn. That is mission. Thank you for being with us.